I'm 30, and tonight I'll be joined by AJS Hero, and we'll be casting quite a few 5v5 games. How you feeling tonight?
I am feeling really good. I have been excited all week for these tiebreaker games.
Yeah, no, they should be pretty exciting. A lot of interesting storylines about to finally come to a close here before we go into the playoffs next week. But before we do that, we'll talk about the last week of regular season play with the MVPs that are now on screen. So game one, we had Cameron on Pot of Greed playing trusty old Ash, 14-6-11. We have in game two a face that we have not seen the entire season on this MVP screen. QBC Mai Wang playing Nunu, 4-3-22. And game three, a guy that we have been seeing as of late a lot on these MVP screens, OTB Sinister Beyblade playing Katarina, 11-2-12. How did that get through?
Um, yeah, sometimes you're Thrifty Senpai, you're the greatest mid laner on God's green earth, at least in your own mind. Sometimes you think, hey, fuck this guy's Katarina one trick, it can't be that good. And you find out the hard way that it can be that good. And that was a costly mistake because they had a lot to play for last week.
Yeah, that is very true. Now they're testing their strength in a three-way tiebreaker that's going on the other stream slash We Love UTech, and they're currently competing in a 1v1 tournament, which turns into a 5v5 tournament. All the info is on SwainLeague.com. On the very first page, it says Tiebreaker Week. But we are here now. We are here for our fourth place seeding tiebreaker game. OTB, One Trick Bronies, against Coffee House. Blue and red side respectively there. And we are just waiting on a couple players here and we can get going.
It looks like they're just getting their teams in order. So, once again, for anyone that's not aware, this is the tiebreaker for 4th and 5th seed, aka the winner of this game goes to the playoffs. The loser of this game does not. And this is the one game I had really been looking forward to all week. Because the other games are just going to determine playoff seeding. But this is somebody's season ends after this one game.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah, it's always a little fun. Pretty stressful for the players, I assume, but should lead to some pretty interesting maybe champion picks in this draft here, or maybe some interesting creative plays on the Rift. Anything to try to give them edge, just to win this one game to seal their fate into the playoffs.
Yeah, the big thing for me going into this game is, unfortunately for Coffee House, Dubdrum was not available to play today, so they are going to be running King of Nigs, presumably in the jungle. He is sub for Dubdrum twice this season, played jungle both times. They didn't try swapping roles around. So I wouldn't be surprised if Coffee House thinks like, hey, we're kind of in some trouble tonight. We haven't been doing well lately. We've only won one game in the second round robin where we barely squeaked out over QBC. Maybe they just try to get pretty crazy with their picks and hope for the best. And I mean, there's still the talent there. Like there are the players on this team that you could see just smashing the lane and snowballing, no matter how badly they've been playing lately. And if they're willing to bust out some crazier picks, like especially Mad Cow, maybe he's gonna first pick something. We'll find out, but it's a lot of pressure for One Trick Bronies to know they are this close to completing the sweep, and now they do not have the room to make a mistake here versus a Coffee House team who maybe is playing a little more loose.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that would just really be just so devastating. This is really, at least in my opinion, and what I can remember with my very bad memory, the sort of the second Cinderella story that we've had so far in SBL history. But this one, honestly, it really just takes the cake. It's really the best thing we've had for a true underdog story. One that could really, you could see an 0-5 team go all the way to the finals here. So, Riot, please.
Yeah, so we're it's the new client, guys. It's they didn't beta test it for very long, so it still has its few issues here and there.
Oh yeah, if people don't know yet, we're all forced now onto this new one, Legacy Client. Rest in peace.
Very good run. Got a lot of good memories in that client.
Oh, yeah, I've spent probably way too many hours in that client.
I really appreciate that the new client is currently broken where you don't get details when you mouse over somebody on your friends list.
Yeah. See, I've been using the new client for a while, so I didn't have to do this switch over production wise throughout the course of the season. But yeah, that was working last week.
Yeah, it seems like that's just a bug because I watched a video. Well, I had this issue last night. I watched Riot's video they put out, which if you did not see, 10 tips and tricks you may not know about the new clients Riot put out that could show you some of the features you may have been unaware of. At least worth a watch, especially if you barely are in League of Legends lately, like I have been. But I saw you can definitely still mouse over your friends. I started asking people, and they've been able to. So it looks like it's just the 7.8 bug, which, like I said, there was not a maybe as extensive of a beta test on this client as there could have been. You know, it was only 9 months, I believe, in open beta, so you can't expect all the kinks to get worked out in such a short period of time. They are only an indie game company.
Okay. Now I know that last statement though. I wasn't sure if it was sarcastic or not because as I've done some software development, but I got it. I got you now. All right. Yeah. So
So I think we just got Mr. King doing a quick relog. The King of Nigs, not King.
yeah. See, when I heard King, I was like, King. That would be quite
So
a sub in. That
yeah, that was that's one way to end your season. So let's talk about King of Nigs because he's probably going to be a big storyline in this game. He's played twice this season. Um, Evelyn and Hecarim with a 3-4-2 on the Eve and a 2-4-10 on the Hecarim. I remember both those games. He didn't the Hecarim game. He looked like he just kind of slotted in and did his thing. That was a win. Like he wasn't really part of why they were winning, but he wasn't doing anything to lose them that game. Wasn't really much to complain about. But the Evelyn game was a little more worrying. The scoreline, I mean, 3-4-2 is not the worst, but I remember just not a lot of pressure going.
yeah. Yeah, and that's I mean, really with Evelyn, you do need to abuse. I mean, essentially her whole gimmicky mechanic, if you want to say that. It's just really this mind game of mysterious early game pressure that you have to put out. It's not really the best scaling jungler, especially when it comes to team fighting. So you really have to make the impact last from the early game. All right, so we're just gonna computer restart out of the King. Client isn't opening now. Oh boy, new client. Thank you for
Uh,
this.
do you think they'll ever release Magma Chamber?
You know, I don't, but I hope so because that's something I've always wanted to play, and I would log back in and play that.
Maybe while we have a moment, I don't know if this is finalized, but do we know when the SBL Award Show is going to be taking place?
Ah, yes. No, not finalized, but I can say that you and me will be around Thursday to do the SBL Season 9 regular season awards show. So all of the team captains, all six of them, and Swift and myself, we've all voted in many different categories, like All-Star for each lane respectively, total season MVP, and a couple, or quite a few more fun miscellaneous categories. And we'll break those down and have sort of a roundtable discussion about that this coming Thursday. Probably be starting at 7 p.m. And we are definitely open to bringing on some guests. Right now, it's just me and Swift confirmed. So yeah, if you're interested in talking about the league, you have some good knowledge. At least you've watched majority
Yeah,
of the games. That would be appreciated.
I am very excited to do this award show. I did my ballot at work last night, and I spent a bit more time than I thought I was going to making some of these decisions. And there were some votes that were actually really difficult to make this season. I thought this was some of the tighter races we've ever had in of the seasons where we've done award ballots.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. There were definitely some categories that were very very close, and I haven't done the numbers yet because I think we're still waiting on a couple ballots. But yeah, there might even be some ties versus these sort of like all-star specific position awards. Yep. So we're still just waiting on the computer restart here. 1v1 tournament. Let's see how that is going. Oh, I guess we're on to the next one. So it looks like Renai Circulation versus Cammer is complete, and I'll try to find out a score here. Okay, yeah, so it looks like Cammer took out Renai Circulation in their first 1v1 2-0. And that's Cammer, the reigning 1v1 champ. So last season, if people weren't around or they forgot, there was a crazy 5-way tie for second, I believe, right? First place was...
Yes, first place was 5-0, and then there were
Yeah.
5 teams at 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, it's this crazy 1v1 tournament. Each team picked 2 representatives.
3.
Three representatives, even bigger. And Cammer at the end of the day was the winner of
Yeah, he
that.
looked really, really good doing it too. There weren't a whole lot of close games along the stretch, which maybe isn't super surprising because Cameron has looked kind of like a boss in lane on both of his teams.
Yeah, no, that is very true. He is definitely one of the higher skilled elite mechanical players in the league. One of the most highest ranking too, I believe, still in the diamond range. Well, sorry for the delay here, guys. King of Nig should be back online within seconds. But if he's not, we are trying to arrange some emergency sub situations going on here. Uh, okay, he's on TeamSpeak.
All
Cool.
right, there we
Yeah.
go, folks. He has joined. So I think that means we are ready, and yeah, we are into the draft. So
Nice.
hopping straight into bands here, we got One Chick Bronies on the blue side, Coffee House on the red, and Brony's gonna open up with a band targeted at Mr. King himself. Wondering if that might be their strategy, just take away a bunch of his champs. No, actually, gonna take away Cruisemaster's Oriana. He has played the last 2 weeks, had some solid score lines, and then Mad Cow's Clad going to be the last of their bands for the first rotation, with Coffee House taking away the Ash, Thresh, Katarina, all champs that OTB have had a lot of success on this winning streak.
Yeah, I think the that Kled band is really smart. He has at least played it a couple times, I believe, right? Or at least one time he had a very good performance on it.
He's played it once, but it didn't do a whole lot. It was 0-2-1 way back in week 6. But it's this is one of those champs that, like, it's been banned almost every game this season. Everyone kind of knows he's pretty good at it, and it's something that a lot of top laners struggle with. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of Wynn's decision, like, hey, we're gonna take away a top laner. Which one do you least want to play against?
Right. Yeah, and we see Zyra as the first pick overall for the blue side, going over to One Trick Bronies. Very smart, taking away Cruise Master, one of his mainstay champions as well.
Yeah, and it puts hook resets onto the champ he played. It was the first 3 games of the OTB winning streak. He had 1 death over those 3 games, a few kills, and a lot of assists. So I really like that. And it looks like that's going to force the Cruise Master onto the Ziggs, which is going to be a new pick here for him. I mean, it's Ziggs. I think he could probably play it. It's not that hard to play.
Yeah, and it might even really fit his motif as a player. Just like sort of stay in the lane and keep wave clearing, keep pushing out, staying safe, surviving, and then getting to that team fighting phase of the game. So Ziggs and Vi over to Coffee House, answered by an Ari and Nocturne pick from One Trick Brony. So once again we see TD Garbage on Nocturne, who I know for sure got an MVP on that a couple weeks back.
Yeah, once again, that was the first 3 weeks of their winning streak. That was what Thor had been playing, and Beyblade has played the Ari 3 times on their winning streak as well. So just all champs that they have had success on, and they've had success with these champs together. Not surprised to see Bronies going to that. as we see the second rotation of bans coming out. And man, what a beautiful time to be alive. Blitzcrank getting banned in the SBL.
Yeah, I don't know what was in the water the last couple weeks, but there's a lot of Blitzcrank play. I mean, not really a lot, but more than you would really expect, especially given the meta of supports and whatnot. You don't see him really at any high levels of play. But we're not the high level of play here at the Swain Batty League. So I appreciated it. It was pretty fun watching him, but I think a smart ban here for OTB against Coffee House Sentry GG was really, really hooking some people in that Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and Hibbs has definitely preferred to play the non-mobile AD carries. So, those are good lanes for Blitzcrank. And if you want to pick Ashe, you want to pick Varus, or something similar to those champs, those are both banned. So we're going to have to see something new here out of Hibbs. But that ban makes me think he's not going to be playing Ezreal, as we see. Kind of a surprising pick here out of the Coffee House, at least surprising to me with the season on the line. They're going to be putting Mad Cow onto the Nautilus. Although I guess that might be a flex pick for Sentry GG. He has played Naut this season.
Yeah, no, that's true, and it might throw a wrench in OTB's plans because I mean, well, not really. I mean, they probably would have expected Mad Cow getting the counter pick here on red side. But yeah, a pretty engage heavy lineup so far.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going to be Poppy Tristana coming out of the Bronies here, so going to be a big change of pace for Pyro Hibbs. We're going to bust out the Tristana Zyra lane. And we will see if it's going to be up against the Nautilus or something maybe a little more meta.
Tristana. What a pick. Have we seen a Tristana pick this season?
In the SBL, I do not believe so.
No, yeah. There it is, folks. Mad Cow on his Olaf.
That should be a solid pick for Mad Cow. Best way to beat Poppy is don't play anything that she can interrupt your dash. Olaf don't have no dash.
Oh yeah. Very true. So I go with what you were gonna say.
I just want to say that the One Tree Bronies, they've hit a really good point in their season where I feel like as a team they have probably 15 power picks they can secure. So it's a guarantee that in every game they're going to get a bunch of their personal power picks, and you can't ban them out. They've all shown success on enough different champs, and that's just what this draft is. It's another one of those drafts where we see the Bronies all picking up. Other than the Tristana, we're just seeing a bunch of champs that we're used to seeing them on.
Yeah, and that's probably pretty good going into a high pressure game like this. Playing something that you're familiar with, something that you these guys probably practice all the time. Like you said, they practice the same select champ pool for every player. So when they go into these drafts, they at least secure at least 2 to 3 of their preferred picks, and they can just sort of fill in the slots from there.
And one thing that's big about having those smaller champion pools as well is your teammates know how to play around those champions. If you're somebody who can play 15 different champs in the SBL, sometimes that's almost an issue, because if you're like, oh, I've never played this in practice, but trust me, guys, I can bust it out. And maybe you know the capabilities of your champ, but your teammates might not be quite ready to play around it. And the Bronies, that's kind of been their calling on this win streak, is they just look very comfortable with their team and very cohesive.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Their macro game, in my opinion, has been the most crisp of every team in the league as of the last 5 weeks.
I would definitely agree with that.
So it looks like Cruisemaster going to be running the exhaust here in mid lane. Probably a smart move against Beyblade here on this Ahri with the ignite. What you'd expect Sinister Beyblade would probably going for a lot of kill pressure, maybe even some some jungle pressure early on. Maybe take Cruz out of the equation here. What are you thinking for where the jungle pressure is going to be placed from OTB?
I I don't know if Thor's gonna plan out his jungle pressure that far in advance. He's struck me as more of a like get to level 6 and then just kind of figure it out as you go kind of guy.
Right.
And he has 3 good lanes to gank for.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I would expect we see maybe him and Sinister going on some plays together, whether that's in the mid lane or if they both roam together towards either of the sides. They should have a lot of kill pressure. But we've seen when Thor's been playing the Nocturne, he's done a really good job of just kind of sitting back and using his ult to counter gank with. And it was a surprisingly effective style for OTB.
Yeah, certainly. But talking about Coffee House's lineup, I mean, and this is the composition. Hopefully, they did some favors for themselves here, because they are down one of their key players, Dubdrum, in the jungle here. But they have King of Nigs on the Vi. It's actually a very common Vi pick, so they're very very common Dubdrum pick. So they're probably very familiar and comfortable playing with that Vi. What do you think the win condition here is for Coffee House?
They need Mad Cow to have a big game. I'm going to say not just a big game. This needs to be Mad Cow's biggest game of the season for Coffee House to make it into the playoffs. I think they're going to kind of turn into a 1-4 once they hit the mid game here, and they're going to kind of hold with that, or maybe even a 1-3-1. But I think a 1-4 would be most effective. And we haven't seen. Mad Cow is now 10 games into his second SBL season, and he's still pretty much solely getting by on the hype of what he did last season. And just to be completely blunt about it, that Mad Cow is not in the SBL this season. He's a different player. He is not just the insane laning phase snowball monster that he was last split. He just hasn't had any of those games where it's like, wow, Mad Cow went off. And some of that's been some really bad picking. Some of it's been team issues. But for me, for this comp, they need Season 8 Mad Cow to show up.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that sentiment. And it's not like the top lane talent pool has gotten like extremely better. The only one that is really above him in terms of like pure lane dominance is Purple Pickle Pie. And surely we see some games where On the Wind does well in the lane, but the other big top laners, On the Wind, Scott Shanat, Sword and Mace, they're all very team oriented players, so they usually gracefully lose the lane.
Yeah,
They go
and
into team fighting.
and that's the crazy thing is it's the same pool of top laners that Mad Cow was beating up on last split. Like there's no major new players up there, but he just has not quite been the same player this split. And then the other player to watch for me is Salvo. Just because I think when Coffee House has won, Salvo has gone off. And when Salvo has not gone off, they have struggled. And that kind of plays into what I think the matchup of the game is, which is going to be AD carry, Salvo versus Hibbs. Because obviously Salvo thinks he's the better AD carry in this matchup. Salvo will always think he's the better AD carry. We could have double lift in the SBL, and Salvo would probably still think he's the better AD carry.
And that's the way I want it to be, man. Yeah, I mean, looking at the lane matchup though, Lucian Nautilus versus Tristana Zyra. Lucian, kind of the ultimate ADC lane bully. Sometimes, I guess. I don't know how that is nowadays. Especially with some Caitlyn and Ashes in the meta. But you're going against Tristana, and Tristana is notably weak in the early game. It takes too long for her to get off all of the procs onto her E-bomb, so there's probably a lot of opportunity here for Salvo and Sensor GG to get some hooks onto this very squishy Tristana and Zyra. But
yeah, this is a kind of lane where Salvo's going to want to be pushing it very early. When you're up against Tristana, you just want to force her under the tower because she's guaranteed to lose CS under a turret because of the E-pop. And then you want to try to get a lead before she starts to scale. And fortunately for Salvo and Sentry, they're playing Lucian Nautilus, and they have 2 kill targets on the enemy team because that Zyra might be the more appealing target in this lane for them to engage on, as Hibbs is going to be able to just jump out of a lot of things.
Yeah, very true. And here we are, folks, loaded up onto the Rift. Finally into the first 5v5 game of our crazy Week 11 tiebreaker week. Some pings going down from OTB to start it off, so... Coffee House... everyone's just pinging the river, so we're gonna see probably 10 champions here in the river. Wow, the sound effect from this Star Guardian skin is pretty
Loud.
amazing. It's loud, and it's... yeah. Wowzers.
You gotta go fast, man.
Yeah, but looks like it's a pretty standard fan out here. Makes sense. No one wants to win or die by some level 1 cheeses
30 seconds until
here when the playoff dream is on the line.
Yeah, looking like both junglers are going to start on their upper side, although we could see King of Eggs was spotted out on that ward there. And we may be going to see a collapse coming out of the Brony this year. Is Sinister Beyblade's willing to go take his charm? Yeah, Sinister Beyblade's walking forward. And nope, he's going to just put some damage on a King of Eggs. So that's actually somewhat substantial because that's, 20% of his health, and he will not be able to back before jungle camp spawn.
Aha. That is very true. If he started refillable potion, however, he has started 3 health pots, so a little bit more health to work with on that first clear. Might be enough to keep him in the green for an early gank. But I guess we'll see what kind of leash he gets here. But yeah, both junglers starting on opposite sides on their red buffs here. Salvo and Sentry might actually get an early level 2 here. They're pushing in the wave.
Yeah, that was actually, I think, really smart from Coffee House. Like I said, there aren't many chips in the game you want to push early as hard as you want to on the Tristana, as Sentry's usually going deep, and he's just going to put down some auto-trading, but hook resets, like I said, maybe going to be the more appealing kill target in this lane. He takes a ton of damage on that first trade.
Yeah, so what do we got here for XP level? Oh, actually, so yeah, early pushing from the Coffee House bot lane not going to be enough for an early level 2. They actually lose out a tiny bit on that race, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, that seems very hard.
I know we meme about Salvo not having much game intelligence. Maybe he just didn't know you were supposed to push on that lane. I don't know. I can't rule that out with Salvo.
Yeah.
We see Mad Cow putting down a lot of pain on the Win. I think he might have to punch, but no, On the Win actually going for an outplay here. He's going to flash, knock Mad Cow into the wall, and TD Garbage shows up, gets the first blood.
Oh, really big first blood, I think. It's going to be hard for Mad Cow to try to get back into this. And TD Garbage, once again, getting off to a really nice early start on this Nocturne. But Mad Cow, he almost traded that kill there. Probably would have been worth it at the end of the day, but really that little amount of HP left on the Win really makes the difference here.
Yeah, what a smooth bait out of On the Winds. But we see King of Eggs showed up in his mid lane, and Sister Beyblade getting knocked away from his turret, but TD Garbage is there. And that is a lot of damage down onto that buy. It should be a back forced.
Yeah, that was a surprising amount of damage. You would imagine 5 would be able to take a little bit more damage there, but I guess not. And Coffee House bot lane, they are shoved under their tower here. A lot of pressure coming from Zyra and Tristana early on.
looking at some of these lands, despite having died, Mad Cow got a pretty solid CS lead on the Poppy. Mad Cow is currently off in that lane. Although Salvo gets in with a big snare in the bottom lane. He's going to flash out, but I think this is going to pop, and both resets gets the kill.
Ooh. That damage, very unexpected there. And the heal, it was blown earlier by Salvo, so he didn't have it there in that engagement. Flash maybe wasted there. Proc might have been, the auto might have already been flying in the air. Not too sure there, but good early show of force from OTB.
Yeah, it was the Ignite tick, I'm pretty sure, that finished him. It was just a panic flash out of Salvo.
Yeah.
And this is just going from bad to worse really fast for the coffee house. Yeah, it's going to be a 1,300 team gold lead for OTB right now. I mean, that's a lot in 6 minutes.
Yeah, and it's a lot of gold, like monetary value, you know, more items, more powerful champions, but really it's just the morale thing here. For Coffee House, they're coming into this, their whole season on the line, not even with Dubdrum on the Rift tonight, off to kind of a rocky start. Oh, well, we love you, Tech. Thank you for the host of 9 viewers. I've always wanted to say that, like I was a real big streamer. But, oh, King of Nix and TD Garbage, they're tussling here in the river. King of Nix, he's going to get feared up, and he's going to have to force the flash. TD Garbage follows with the auto, finishes off, and Sinister Beyblade catches out Cruise Master. Charm hits, and going to be a lot of damage going down onto him in the mid lane. But he will get out, I assume, with the satchel jump. Meanwhile, bot lane keeps trading aggressively.
Yeah, like you were saying, this morale, this could be a really huge issue for the coffee house. They started the season 4-1. You made a comment on the midseason review about how you thought they were going to be the team to miss the playoffs, and I think at that point it was a laughing matter to them. They go on this big losing streak, and I mean, I know it is in the heads of some of these players. It's tough to start 4-1, and they looked fairly solid in that 4-1, and then suddenly everything that had been going good, they just were not able to execute anymore in the second round robin. Their only win comes over QBC, and now to just go down early so fast in this game.
Yeah, that's I totally I meant it seriously, but then like people pointed out like, are you for real? I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'm not for real. There's no way Coffee House misses the playoffs with this kind of start, with this kind of roster. Like, even just assuming Dubdrum misses a couple weeks here and there, and I think he showed up for 8 of the 10, I believe, regular season weeks. Because I knew there was questions about his stability on the roster going into the season. It seems like a lot of those doubts were put away though. The schedule worked out pretty nicely, but yeah, pretty sad news here maybe for some Coffee House fans in the stream. But let's not count them out so far, or yet, I should say. Still plenty of ways that they can try to get back into this game. OTB bot lane looks like they were trying some sneaky brush play there in the lane, but Coffee House not going to take the bait. Some early warding going down from Coffee House on the Dragonside River here. Yeah, they're looking to maybe start that up, or at least they're bringing 3 people into the mid lane. There's no wards on that side for Beyblade, so an unsuspecting Ari here. The hook's gonna miss, but the Vial comes in with the Zigzald on top of it, but Beyblade, he's already out with not even using the Spirit Rush? Or yeah, he did use Spirit Rush. There it is. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, that was worth
insane overcommitments from the Coffee House. I don't know how hard they thought they were going to be able to outplay Sinister Beyblade on the Ari, who had a flash available too. Watch it now. We see Thor flying in from off screen, bringing the darkness as he's going onto Salvo and King of Nix, but only going to force him zoning in a blue buff steal, which this could be really substantial. Cruz on the Ziggs is definitely going to want that blue buff. As oh no, King of Nix gets snared at the max of his range, and he's going to go down to hips. And then in the top lane, Wind has to flash away from the Mad Cow. And Wind is playing with fire here. He is an axe away from being tower diveable. As
Yeah.
Mad Cow does have a flash available. But
Early
all
Ocean
in all,
Drake.
yeah, the best time of the game to see the Ocean Drake first.
Yeah, and Mecca is actually, it's got a 10 CS lead here. It's going to be probably evened up to 7, but at least he's still in this. He's still fighting pretty strong. On the Wind's Poppy's still not at that break point with tank items yet, where he could really just stand toe-to-toe with Olaf. And we haven't seen TD Garbage up there in a little bit, because as you said, they had some scuffles down in the bot lane here, secured the Dragon. 4-0 lead, a little over 10 minutes here for OTB. To get an update on the other stream in the 1v1 tournament, well, it's already been decided. Camer 2-0ing the Mighty Wolf, and so that will secure Pot of Greed, the bye round in the 5v5 tournament taking place after this, for seeds 1 through 3. No surprise there, really.
I'm surprised he went 2-0 in both of his matches. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
He's good, but so are some of those other guys.
That's true. And like, I was on the other stream and we were hyping it up because like those three, Renai Circulation, to Mighty Wolf, Camera, those are some of the best mechanical players in the league, or at least they have like a lot of the mechanical knowledge required to go toe to toe in the 1v1. Blab's always been known about his creative strategies and sort of lane dominance, but not enough to take any games off the almighty 1v1 Camera God. Oh, Beyblade, he is way behind, well, he's behind the Coffee House here, under their tower, but King and Eggs in the top lane, uses the ult onto On the Wind. Scarl, this is on the chase here, On the Wind. The ult actually misses, splits the uprights there, stuns King and Eggs into the wall, but it still might not be enough, and it won't be. Scarl's going to pick up that kill. Hook lands onto Beyblade, Charm goes wide, Root's not going to land either, but meanwhile, Hib's going to pick up this tower with Tristana power.
Yeah, that was a really nice LCS play out of the One Trick Bronies, who, when Wind was being sacrificed, they knew they could trade a kill for a turret, and Wind will have his teleport available to get back to that top lane, so that's going to be a pretty big win for OTB, who knew they could hard commit when they saw King and Eggs in that top lane. Also, just want to say, Wind did not miss the ult. It was Mad Cow was ulted on the Olaf, so could not be displaced. So pretty much as soon as Mad Cow dropped that ult, Wind knew he was dead and was just trying to waste a little time.
Yes, very true. And OTB, they allocated forward here to this mid lane push. They took that bot tower already, so they're looking to use that Tristana on the mid, but Hibs, he gets hooked mid-jump here. Death Charge comes through, but there's not going to be any pursuit. The Zyra ult's going to be used to disengage. Meanwhile, 2v2 in the top lane. King and Eggs, he's going to get feared up. He's so low, but he's way out. Now Scarl has to take on 2. Running through Tribush, he looking for safety under his tower, and the flash will be blown, and he'll stay safe today. Meanwhile, trades go down in the mid lane. So much fighting going on right now.
Yeah, you can kind of feel the timer is ticking for Coffee House. They know they don't have a whole lot longer to maybe get something going, or at least that's how they're playing like. But they do not get anything there. Well, Mad Cow does complete the Black Cleaver up in the top lane, so that may be a bit of a power spike for him. But just was not able to get anything going early in this game. Like I said, I do not feel good about Coffee House going late here if Mad Cow is only even with On the Winds.
Yeah. And his teleport's down.
Going for a catch though, they forced the flash out of King.
Yeah, and his teleport's down right now, so no opportunity to really make a play. Yeah, I mean, he's really just sort of allocated right now to the top lane, wave clearing, trying to push On the Wind in. At least exert some pressure for Coffee House here. Keep that top lane tower as a rock. But OTB, they are so crisp on the racket game. Like I said in the draft, they never really put themselves in a bad position, like in a super long lane where they can get ganked with the teleport. Even they went to mid lane. Now they've waited for the bot lane to push back onto them, so we can expect Hibs to go down there and start clearing that out and pushing it back onto that tier 2.
So, looking at some of these lanes again, there is a big lead in this mid lane for Sinister Beyblade on the Ari or Cruise Master. Looking, that is about 900 gold in favor of Sinister Beyblade, just from pure laning phase. It's a lot of gold, man.
Yeah, that is a lot of gold. And some more intense zoning here in the jungle for Coffee House. Blue side, Charm's actually going to land on the King of Nades, and the Nocturne Elf is immediately pressed. Easy kill there for TD Garbage. Hook comes through onto Hibs. A lot of damage coming through. Salvo laying down his combo. Cullen comes out. Ziggs Bomb, huge, takes out TD Garbage to start it off here, and Sinister Beyblade is exhausted, but it's not going to be enough to deal the damage onto Cruise Master. 2 for 2 traded so far, and that's going to be it for the 4v4 on the bot.
That was an overcommitment by OTB, but saved by Sinister making a play at the end there. Once your bronies had the play they wanted to set up for the Dragon when they killed King of Nigs very early. They didn't need to go super deep there, but Hibs did. Fortunately for him, it's only an even team fight.
Yeah, and a little tower damage from OTB there at the tail end, but not gonna be a lot to write home about. But Scarl Windus, he's gonna pick up the first tower for Coffee House.
Yeah, I think OTB are planning to head straight back towards that dragon, so Winds did not want to blow his teleport. Save that turret in case a fight does break out soon. So we'll keep an eye on what happens there. I'm really interested to see what happens in this 1v1 matchup if they do come back to top lane, because Mad Cow now has a lot of room to work with, as he just takes a big trade from Wind and has to get the hell out. Maybe he won't be able to chase Wind down the way I was thinking he might be able to.
Yeah, and we might see a Tristana gank coming up here. He's moving through the river on the wind. He might be actually baiting this out. He uses the ult to knock him up here, and Hibs, he jumps over the wall, lays down the E, makes you vulnerable to CC, but not damage. Olaf not gonna go down. Just a sliver of health for Mad Cow there.
Yeah, but that's going to be a lot of damage. I believe a take on this turret is Tristana. Second only to Jinx, maybe, in turret taking capability. That's now 2 turrets down. But a 2,500 gold lead for OTB, as we are maybe going to see a fight breaking out in the jungle. No, just kidding.
Oh, they got the pink ward set it up. Sentry GG, though, with the back pedal there, expecting people in that bush. Oh, gets hit with charm, but once again, back pedals in such a way where he's not really in a position to get all in.
Yeah, just look at how much vision OTB just set up in Coffee House's red side. This is such a simple play for them to rotate onto this mid lane. It's going to draw out the Ziggs ults, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough to hold his turrets.
Yeah, there's a couple minions there in the front that I don't think were in the ult. And but it wouldn't have really mattered. I think they might have been able to just sort of off-tank that, or at least switch the aggro with the Tristana bomb. Might have taken a couple of tower shots, which might make the difference here in an ensuing 5v5 fight around this Windrake. Yeah, and they've started it up, but I think they have to try to get out here. OTB uses the Zyra ult in the river to try to disengage with TD Garbage. He's left in the pit doing the dragon all by himself. The carries for OTB, they're getting lit up down the river here, but it looks like they all get out with flashing red health bars, but King of Nigs actually secures the Cloud Drake for Coffee House.
That was almost a disaster for One Trick Bronies. They, for all the shot calling praise we give them, they really screwed things up there. TD Garbage committed to staying in the pit while his entire team ran away, and it looked like they were going to lose that fight on both fronts in addition to giving up the Dragon. But they are going to give up Dragon and this mid-tier 1 here. But they're very fortunate they didn't give up 3 or 4 kills with it.
Yeah, so really, yeah, it's kind of a flounder there in shot calling, like you said, but they reacted and made a very smart decision just to get the hell out. Everyone's for themselves. Losing 1 is better than losing 5. And the Cloud Drake, actually probably pretty effective on this Coffeehouse lineup, especially on this Olaf, who's notorious for being kited around. Same with Nautilus and Vi, both all 3 of those champions are melee oriented, but they really want to try to get in there and lay down a couple autos and lay down the CC that when they need it. So it looks like more vision control coming out from OTB on this Baron side. Like you stated earlier, they had so much of it set up. Looks like they had to go in and reset it all up again for what it looks like a top and mid push here. Hib's probably just setting up the wave down bot, so it has to be answered by Skarl, and then rotating over to mid.
Yeah, this is kind of that interesting point in the game when you have a lead where you have all 3 tier 1 turrets down. You're not always too sure how you want to approach the next plan. I mean, Dragon was that next plan, and they screwed that up. But it's kind of their call where they want to establish vision now, where they want to push. But we see Thor going in on a King of Nations, and Jesus, that is a damaging Nocturne chunking out this Vi. But a nice little banner comes out. King of Nations gonna almost save his life, but no, as soon as the Beyblade is there, basically picks up a double kill by himself. Selma does not get that calling off in time, and it's a 1 for 2. And now some lane pressure coming as Win wants to ult them back. He's going to. This is everyone's zone. There's going to be a tier 1 traded for a tier 2 win for OTB.
Yeah, and almost a really cute turnaround there on TD Garbage. Hook resets with the flash over the wall, Zyra ult. Not going to hit anything today with that clever play, but I don't think it needs to hit anything here. They're just getting tower damage here on mid lane. Madcow, though, in the bot lane, he's going to pick up that tier 1 uncontested here. Depth charge comes out. No follow-up there from Coffeehouse. And there's Tristana with the bomb once again. So 2 towers off that push for OTB. 5-3 in towers. But Madcow, he's still going. He's still going in bot lane.
Yeah, Thor is almost there, though. He should be able to hold that turret at least.
Yeah, and we just have... Oh, no, 2 members, yeah. So Sinister Beyblade and Hibs, they are rotating down there, but Madcow able to make the long trek out.
But, Coffeehouse?
Yes.
Going for a sneaky Baron.
That is...
Maybe thinking they need to make a big play to get their season on the line, but it looks like OTB no, because Wind teleported in, and he is going on to Madcow as the rest of the members have been running from the Baron pit.
Yeah. No, that's actually that was smart. Very smart. When you're down like this in League of Legends, you might not have a lot of choices or opportunities when it comes to shot calling. You have to play more reactive there. But they had the choice, and it was a good one. Hibs and Beyblade, they rotated down bot to try to take out Skarl, pulling them away from Baron, at least to start it up and bring them back. And so that bot lane wave is actually still in a really good position for Coffeehouse at the moment. So it gives them some time to at least fight around this Baron. Top lane's going to be pushing out for them as well. So not a lot of easy towers left to take for OTB. They still have that tier 2 in the bottom they could take from Coffeehouse relatively easy. But otherwise, you're going to have to try to siege or dive an inhibitor tower, and there's a lot of tools on this Coffeehouse lineup that make that really tough to do.
Yeah, but fortunately for the Bronies, if they do get one light play, they can really light up a tower fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really just a matter of Coffeehouse staying alive here, at least having numbers advantage when defending a tower, or at least even. So much vision, a lot of control wards for OTB in this Baron River. Coffeehouse are traveling as one though. They're gonna try to go in and clear at least some of this. But a big juicy wave actually is gonna be accumulating in the bot lane for OTB, so that's gonna start pushing by itself.
Yeah, I assume that's the direction Mad Cow is going right now, and it looks like OTB are maybe the next ones they're going to try to force a teleport. As they start up onto the Nasher.
Ooh,
They're putting a lot of damage down really fast. I don't know if Bronies know where King of Nigs is, though. But they might be committing to finishing this. As the Zigzal comes in, Sentry GG has showed up. King of Nigs splash, and King steals the Baron! Oh no! And now they're going to try to fight this, but there's a lot of damage being done. But Mad Cow is taking all of the Bronies by himself, and he is winning for a while. A 2 for 2, and now TD Garbage going on to Salvo, going to try to lay down the Fear. Salvo flashes out. The Fear does not proc, as Salvo is trying to kite here. Puts down enough damage to scare Thor off. But a 2 for 2 and Baron taken by Coffeehouse.
Oh, and King Nixie rotates down to try to pick up an Ocean Drake for himself here, but that's not gonna be the case. Yeah, too low there. But wow, what a game-saving Baron steal from King and Nigs. And yeah, 2 for 2 trade at the end of the day. Salvo really lucky that he had those ninja tabbies there.
Yeah. But yeah, just once again, poor shot calling punished from the one-trick Bronies. They were not properly tracking King of Nigs there. They got a little too excited about being able to finish the Baron off, and they ended up having to overcommit. And then King of Nigs is able to just come in and take the steal.
Yeah, so we see another Ocean Drake going over to OTB. All right, 26, almost 27 minutes here, folks, into this first game, first 5v5 game of Tiebreaker Week.
Let me, I gotta comment on something on the Twitch chat here. It was bad shot calling, because missing a smite isn't just a mechanical misplay. When you're in a situation where the junglers are the same level, it's not just one guy has the advantage and gets to hit the smite. It's essentially a 50-50 smite. At best, maybe it's like a 60-40 situation, but it's still a huge risk given the situation where the one-trick Bronies have had total control of this game. The idea in that situation is that you want to force them in. If the jungler's not going to show up, then yeah, you finish the Baron off. But if the jungler's going to be there, you just use Baron as bait to draw the team in, to force a team fight, and then you kill them. They thought they could finish the Baron before the King of Nigs got in. They were wrong, which put them in the situation to take the 50-50 smite, which they then lost.
Yep. Very, very true. Yeah, that's a very common solo queue mentality. Like, but when you have all 10 champions in a Baron pit, literally anyone could get it. Like, I could get it. I could not even be in the game, and I could accidentally smite steal a Baron.
Yeah, and even professional teams, it's like the most common mistake in League of Legends is taking 50-50 smites. And it's just something that it's really hard to have the discipline to know how to opt out of. But fortunately for the Bronies, there's not going to really be anything gained with Coffeehouse with this Baron buff. They just were able to use it to stall and kind of push match pressure back towards the middle of the map.
Yep. Yeah. So to answer Sword and Mace, so all of these 5v5 games tonight are best of ones. So this game will decide who makes it in that last spot into the Gauntlet playoffs. Oh, hook lands on the Beyblade. Death Charge comes out, but both teams use their initiations to start this one off. On the Win is in the back. Exhaust comes through, tries to lay down a 2-man ult onto Coffeehouse. Here comes the redemption. Try to keep him alive. King of Nigs. They take out On the Win, so he's back there. Gets kited out by Coffeehouse. And OTB, they're low on their carries. They tier 2 close out.
Mad Cow outside of what Director Cam was showing us. Mad Cow was zoning everyone from one-trick Bronies there. The damage they put down at the start of that fight was huge. And now Coffeehouse are in a really good situation to take an inhibitor here. They have awesome waves prepped in both of the side lanes. They could do a lot of damage here.
Yeah. Snare comes through. Tristana E. Not gonna be any follow-up there. It's really scary chasing into this jungle. but Coffeehouse are going to make it safely to this bot lane. Yeah, like you said, that top lane tower is going to take some damage from minions.
Yeah, and Coffeehouse need to be careful here. They are low, and On the Winds can teleport in if they choose to go for a play here.
Yeah, oh, Beyblade has to go top and answer that wave, so they're going to lose the tier 2 bot, save the tier 2 top, and that's going to be it for this push. Coffeehouse taking the spoils of war, but not the gold lead quite yet. Yeah, they are up in towers, though, 6-5.
Yeah, and we're kind of hitting a point in this game where I don't know what OTB are going to do to answer Mad Cow running free in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, when he pops the ult, you can't get CC'd. So say goodbye to your potentially really good peeler in Poppy. Actually, on the win in that last fight, played him as kind of a backline diver to put some pressure on. But Poppy plays extremely well as a peeler. It's just that I don't know if OTB really have the resources to allocate on the win back to defending Hibs or Beyblade. I mean, Beyblade should be able to survive on its own. Hibs, maybe not so. If his jumps down, flash down, something like that, that's a very easy kill for Mad Cow's Olaf.
Yeah, this feels like the most tested the Bronies have been
in a while.
In the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is super good. So a rough start, folks. If you're just tuning in, rough start early on for Coffeehouse here, but they've slowly been fighting back, and it all started with a King of Nig's Baron steal, maybe like 10 minutes ago or so, and they were the first to break the base for OTB. Mid inhibitor down for them. Next Baron's up in a minute, with a dragon coming up as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a mountain dragon as well, so that could turn into a big factor as we see second Baron happening.
Yeah, well, TD Garbage is way far away from this objective, but so Coffeehouse, it looks like they got the scuttle. They're really wanting to get this mountain drake coming up.
Yeah, they've got some solid vision in this area too, and they know that Thor does not have much longer before he has to leave the top lane if he's going to go for this dragon. But maybe OTB, yeah, it looks like everyone's kind of heading towards this Baron Nasher pit actually, as Wind, with the teleport available, is prepping a big wave in bots.
Yep. That tier 2 in bot lane is extremely low, so it depends on how long Coffeehouse really wants to wait around and do this Baron dance. But yeah, Mad Cow is gonna go down there to help contest. Charm lands onto Sensor GG as Nautilus. He was already a little bit low. The flash comes through, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. But maybe it is. The die was ticking, but the redemptions come through, and now the bomb pops from Tristana.
Oh man, that was a big heal out of Salvo to save his support there. But this is going to buy a lot of pressure for One Trick Bronies, who can now set up all the vision they want around this Baron, as Wind going aggressively but not going to get the King and Diggs.
OTB top lane wave is prepped. It's accumulated very big now. It's gonna start pushing to the top lane, and they might just rotate over to bot or Dragon. Actually, seems to be what they're eyeing up now.
Yeah, and they're going to see a bunch of members showing in the top lane. They know they can burn this dragon before they have to worry about Baron.
I think they're just going to go for Baron here, right? But there's no way they could get that down. Their composition does not have the kind of damage that OTB's
Yeah,
does.
Salvo's still really far away from the Baron pit, so this should be fine for OTB here, as Wind's able to even use the opportunity to go wave clear and bot. Once again, he does still have his teleport available, so watch if he tries to go for a flank.
Yeah. So maybe some clever movements out of OTB. I mean, there was no fighting. I mean, there's almost a kill on the Sensor GG there, but just the way they moved around and applied pressure, they were able to back up and then get that dragon.
Yeah, and they were able to use the chess game to buy out time for the inhibitor to respawn. It has now respawned, so they're no longer under that super pressure.
Yep, and before the maybe another big fight ensuing here, OTB opting for a recall. There's no one terribly huge in this game. TD Garbage
No, there's not.
looking pretty good, but it's actually he's only about 500 gold up on King of Nigs. Surprisingly, because of how well TD Garbage started up on this Nocturne. But I don't think that it doesn't mean much here in these 5v5s. These actually might be incredibly close.
Yeah, to me the biggest player right now is Mad Cow. Because we saw in these last few fights how hard it is for him to die. He doesn't have much armor built, but that's not an issue. He was able to go all in on the MR because he knows TD Garbage is never going to be aggressing on him, and that Hibbs is going to be spending a lot of time kiting him instead of DPSing him. So he's got a Spirit Visage and a Hex Trigger. It's a big hook, maybe lands on Beyblade. Flash is coming forward, and Beyblade gets popped to start the fight off. Oh no!
Wow, that was so crisp from Coffee House. The decision there to go in after the hook, they just knew it. If they chained all their CC together, they're able to take him out before he could Spear Rush or Flash out of there, before anything could come through. Hibbs not using the Summoner Heal at all. Knew his fate was sealed, and so it's going to be another inhibitor take from Coffee House here.
And once again, the waves are in really good positions as this inhibitor goes down. The playbook kind of wide open here for Coffee House, but maybe Sensory GG getting caught again as he's trying to hook his way out. Not going to be able to. He's popping shields, and actually Desire has to flash defensively, but OTB are playing forward, and Exhaust comes down onto Anuin. Anuin is playing ahead of his team. Hibbs gets the kill, but a big Zigzalt comes in. One Trick Brony's flashing away from this fight, but they trade kills as Beyblade respawns.
Wow, yeah, and OTB, they are so low from the fight, they have to back. Coffee House might be using this opening. They only have their support down, so they're not going to be missing that damage from support Nautilus here onto this Baron. And they're doing it. It's gonna go down a lot faster than I might have even imagined here.
Yeah, Wind teleporting in, but this is going to be close. There's not going to be...
Oh, they're hesitating.
Oh, they're peeling off when they saw this teleport, and now TD Garbage is able to ult in. TD Garbage in the Baron pit. Baron going to go down to Cruise Master, but at what cost? A lot of damage flashed out by the Mad Cow. Only one kill, but Baron secured by Coffee House.
Oh, that was big. That almost looked like complete disaster for Coffee House, honestly. That might have been the game-deciding play there, but... huge reward for Coffee House. Yeah, only losing the jungler there, keeping the Baron buff onto 3 members. Sensory GG not up at the time when the Baron went down. But with the inhibitor down on OTB, now they can apply that pressure into the Baron pressure into top and bottom lane.
Yeah, and like we said earlier in this game, this is a comp that's built to 1-4. This is the best situation to be in, is a 1-4 team where Mad Cow can go in the top lane, the 4 can go in the bot, while supers are coming down mid. And you have Baron making the whole process easier.
Wow, the fact that Cruz secured this out of all people. I think, so King Nix, he went down before the Baron was even smiteable in smite range. And according to Twitch chat, no smite from Nocturne at all during that contest. So
yeah,
that was really up in the air.
Thor really tunnel visioned in on that fight, and it was bad. That was a misplay.
Yeah. Yep, on the win, has to try to ward off a Baron Mad Cow Olaf. He's already down to half health. Has a GA though, but that'd be quite a waste if he were to go down in the 1v1 here under his tier 2. And
yeah, and I think
he
has to give up his tier 2.
Yep.
And he's going to give up a lot of pressure onto this tier 3 as well, as we see the 1-4 established. Yeah, Wind doesn't even have the chance to back. He doesn't know what to do here. As Mad Cow lays some damage out, but it looks like TD Garbage wants to go for a play here on the Mad Cow, going for the fear, but this could be a really costly play for the OTB as...
Oh, Direct Gamma going down, Hibbs gets locked up with the Zigzalt on top, Salvo secures that kill, but Beyblade picks up the return kill onto Salvo. Now King of Nigs goes down, double kill for Beyblade. And the 2v1 up top actually works. They take out Mad Cow. So there's only 2 members left for Coffee House.
Hook hits on a hook resets. Oh no, One Trick Bronies. They're going to lose a third. Now Thor going in with the big up. He's going to pick up Cruise Master. We have arrived in the Cloud Fiesta, boys, as Sensory GG is running for his life, hooking to the remains of a former tower, as he's just going to be trucking away.
Oh, those Riptides. They're so good, but it's not going to be enough.
Gets the ace.
Oh boy.
Just barely gets held onto by the One Trick Bronies, but they got to get the hell back and defend it. The top lane turret didn't take much damage, but the upper Nexus turret took a lot of damage. So did the bottom inhibitor turret. So things are stalled out, and Wind is gonna go drop a pink at Elder.
Yeah, and there's no vision in the river for Coffee House. They have a lot of vision in that red side jungle for OTB, all leading up all the way to that bot lane tower that they were
Yeah,
sieging.
and they also have vision in the lanes themselves with all 3 lanes being pushed, so they have a pretty good idea that they're fine here.
Oh yeah, and this actually, this is totally gonna be uncontested. I don't, well maybe I don't know about One Trick Ponies. They can get there and. Huh? No, never mind. This is actually
they're
gonna
fine.
be set up.
Elder is such a slow objective to take.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone's back up. All 10 champions. Ensuing fight for the Elder Drake. Drake-in. Not some measly Drake, man. He's a full GON.
He's like a fucking PhD where he's like, oh, it's doctor. Thank you very much.
It's Elder
You
Dragon.
will call me Dragon.
Yeah.
And this Dragon, being taken pretty fast. Now Wynn's looking for a big ult, but he's going to whip it. Sinister Beyblade taking a lot of damage. Wynn taking a lot of damage. As the Ziggs ult not going to quite hit anyone. Now the Zyra ult comes out, flashes Force out of Coffee House as they are back onto this Elder Dragon. Thor coming to go in, gonna be a 50-50 situation as Dragon low, health bars are low, but Dragon gonna go down to King and Nix. But the fight is happening. Hibbs trying to play this safe, and Mad Cow goes down. A double kill for Hibbs, but Hibbs is gonna die at the end of this. It's TD Garbage in the pit, a 3 for 3. But Elder secured for the 2 members of Coffee House.
Oh my god. Both of those teams that right before everything went down, there was so many good disengages from both of those teams. It's OTB that they really sidestep a lot of the primary engage out of Coffee House. Oh, okay. No charm there on King and Niggs, but they're able to dodge Ziggs ult entirely. I think Vi-ult was used very early on. Not a lot of follow-up there. Depth charge as well. So pretty much all of the big ticket ults from Coffee House didn't hit their marks, and OTB able to do the re-engage, but King and Niggs once again man on the smite key, which is gonna be D for him? No, F. Oh my god. Oh my god. F is for flash, people.
No, D is for Flash.
Oh no.
Dummy.
Oh no. Really? Are you a D flasher?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have no
How
idea.
many SBLs have you won?
How many SBLs have you won?
Jackmat. Alright, so back into this game here. I'm really... We got Baron coming up in a minute. That's...
Coffee House has actually a gold lead. Slightly. Oh wait, I don't know anymore. It's tied. It's literally tied, folks. Okay. Oh, I don't know. OTB is up like hundreds of gold. Means nothing at 42 minutes here in League of Legends.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be a dead even fight here, and both of these teams have been showing these compositions both can team fight fairly well.
Yeah, that's the scary thing to me about this game is if this goes to the super late game, I don't know which team that benefits, but we see the fight coming out here as Sensory GG gets the hook and Sinister Beyblade gets chunked out, but Win gets a nice, he knocks Salvo very far away from this fight. They should be able to turn on the Mad Cow, but no, Hibbs actually gets popped instead. Now Thor going very far forward, but this is a 0 for 3 in the blink of an eye for Coffee House, and fuck Baron, they are going to the mid lane, they are going for the end, and it is just Zyra and Ari alive, trying to hold the Nexus, and one of the Nexus turrets is already low.
Oh dear, this is it. I think this is the end of the Cinderella story for OTB. The whole clans.
Look, Beyblade has to pop his Zonia so early here. He's flashing under his Nexus turrets. That's one outplay ability no longer available, and these is a big creep wave coming in. Mad Cow on the turrets. Beyblade still coming out of his mountain. One turret already down. There is no way for Beyblade and Hook resets to stop this. The second turret down, and Coffee House end the Cinderella story in week 11, and they are going to the playoffs.
Oh man. What a turnaround for Coffee House. They they fought through a lot of early game deficits there. This OTB composition had a lot of damage packed into it, but at the end of the day, this tanky engage lineup from Coffee House wins out. I mean, talking to some Coffee House players, I don't think they expected to win today without Dubdrum in the jungle. This is very surprising.
And then it all started with their backup jungler winning the 50-50 smite to get them back into this game. They got to be feeling great about that. They get the chance to reset and head into the playoffs next week. And, man, my heart just breaks for the One Trick Bronies. They had such a great season. But I guarantee every other team in the playoffs is super happy to have seen them just lose that game.
Yeah, the streak that OTB was on, it honestly seemed unstoppable. I wouldn't have been surprised if they just went all the way to finals and won this whole season the way that they were looking. The macro game, so crisp. They were even winning their lanes in a lot of these games that they just outright won some of their lanes, which is surprising with a lot of these players. A lot of pre-season analysis didn't see this lineup being extremely dominant in the laning phase. But wow, so yeah, that's gonna do it, folks. Coffee House, they secure the 4th seed going into the playoffs.
I assume we're gonna skip the interview here
Yes,
because we're
skipping
very far behind.
Yes, we're skipping all interviews tonight, folks. Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick stream break. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna load up on the Rift with King's Incredible Kool-Aid Stand versus Think Twice's Scrappy Affiliates. Stay tuned.